Okay. We're a little dirty today, but it rained and there's like 8 wet horses in the barn, so we're gonna practice with a dirty horse today just to show you that. And she got her face caught somewhere yesterday, and let's put some stuff on it. We need to put some more stuff on it. It's okay. So Khaleesi, 12 years old, never really been handled much. So we'll start with some of the stuff, teaching her how to come around you on a circle. She's actually standing quite nice. This took some time to accomplish, didn't it? Because she was very, very crooked. Actually, I'm very impressed with how she's standing, because normally she doesn't just take the stand. So she's like, I'm learning my lessons well. I'm trying hard now instead of resisting. So first we'll start out by, I'm going to line her up with her own body. So from the pole to the tail. And then I'm going to play around with a little bit of a release in the pole. And then see, as soon as we do that, she wants to move because it's hard for her to release in a good balance. So in order for her to stand square, she wants to keep her head slightly off to the left, which we just saw, which again shows us it's just like us, where we think straight is when it's really not. So you have to guide her. So now I'm going to go for a little bit of a flexion, but without her retracting back in her shoulders, because there she just shifted back instead of letting go of the neck. So then we'll try again. There, that's better. Good job. Good job. Very nice. Good girl. And then she wants to fall in and lean on you. It's okay. At least she's not being obnoxious. Because before we had no physical control of any part of our body at all. Allie, out. Thank you. Good girl. So then we'll ask her to come around. And if this horse was totally non-responsive to anything, and the more that you clucked at her, the less she would go. So I started practicing not clucking a lot and just focusing on her response to my body language and the whip, because I feel she's a little more resistant to the cluck and she doesn't really understand. So I use it less with her for those reasons. Good. So we have a nice little flow, girl, and then I'm going to go into the rib cage a little bit. Good job. Create a rhythm. Left rib cage yield. And then there she stopped. So I did cluck a little and I used my whip, so that was good. She responded. What you don't want to do is, if you're clucking and the horse isn't responding, you can't keep doing that. And a lot of times the timing of the cluck is important. So that's another thing. You have to study when the timing of the cluck should be. That's a whole nother lesson. Good. So left rib cage, forward, up. Super. Very nice. And then we'll halt. Girl, good job. Super. And then I'll go in here and see if she'll turn her head very slightly. Good job, without resisting, which is good. Nice little stretch. Good girl. She was not capable of doing this at all. She actually wouldn't even look at me. Good girl. See how much we can go. Oh, and she goes good. Super. Around. Up. This. Girl. More. Good. One of the things initially is, when you're doing this, is you want the horse to walk around you on a circle, and ideally the goal is that the hind feet step into the front footprint. So obviously she struggles with that a little bit, so sometimes you have to adjust the body, good girl, to help her find a better balance, so that she can line up her hind feet with her front feet. Good this is all very excellent because, like I said before, she wouldn't even move. Good job. Look at you. You got this. And there's your belly. And flex it in. Good girl. Very nice. And straighten it out again. If she wanted to twist, again. Super. Good job. And then around. And I'll go for a little kneel in the rib cage. Super. Super. And it's interesting if you watch her eye, the eye wants to look away and then it comes back in, and it looks away and it comes back in. So it was so bad when she first came here, like her head was stuck to the right. So she's really, really made a lot of progress. Good job. Very nice. Good. And she was stiff as a board. Excellent. There we go. Go on, keep it up. Go on. Keep it up. You got it. Let it go. Girl. Super. Excellent. Good. Excellent. Good job. And again, there's your release in the jaw, which is nice. Oh, hi. You look away from me and now you come back. Got like weird lumps in there. So she's a little resistant in the ribs, so I'm going to ask her to come, there we go, readjust. Then, because she's stiff, actually I'll come around and then put her against the wall so you can see. I think there's potentially some girth scarring or muscle scarring here in this section, because you can kind of feel where there's a mass that doesn't quite move. So when, when I do the work in the stall and find these areas that are kind of red flags to me, and when the horse reacts a certain way when I touch her, then I'm gonna work on that a little bit so that she softens and isn't so defensive. So again, like you can kind of feel there's like a big lump in this whole area. So I'm just going to move it around a little for her and in a soft way so that she doesn't get defensive and cranky about it. Yeah, so soften. And then, because obviously there's some type of holding pattern that's in here that's kind of strange to me. Like there's a big mass like right here and then nothing right here. So what you want to try to do is get this to release a little bit more, because once this lets go, then the other side up and her shoulders here will let go too, because if this isn't moving, then that's pulling on here on the back of the shoulder. Good girl. Because what we want is we want the rib cage to move away from us without the front leg leaving the ground. So I'm going to kind of play around with moving the ribs until she adjusts her front end a little bit. That's actually not too bad though, because now she's actually curving. Girl. Super. There you go. Come on, you gotta fix it. Fix that. Come on, let it go. Good. There. So she has a tendency to take the weight off of the right hind leg and then lean into the left front leg. and all that comes through an imbalance in the body of the horse. So, and generally the rib cage is the area that the horse is locking in. So you want to create some mobility in the ribs so that when you ride or use your leg or even move, the horse is capable of having some flexibility and expansion and contraction in the rib cage. And let her walk, because make sure she can open up her jaw just in case. You know, and my gut tells me that, again, there's some type of saddle scarring in this whole area right here. But she was, supposedly, they said that no one ever rode her before, but I don't think that's true. Because she has weird reactions to the saddle when you first approach her. And that tells me, especially at the age of 12 and her not knowing anything, supposedly she shouldn't have built-in resistances to where a saddle goes. So horses tell a story. You just have to listen. Good. Much better. Not so much on the hind end. Let's stand up. And the cool thing about this type of work too is when you work on the ribs and you start to show the horse how to let go and how to flow, your digestive system actually becomes healthier because the horse isn't holding tension in the rib cage. A lot of horses hold tension in the rib cage, and the tension in the rib cage then can create tension in the digestive system, which would create colic or ulcers or any stuff, you know, that has to do with digestion. There we go. Good. Super. So now it's actually moving a little bit more. Where it wasn't really moving much earlier, but there's still a big lump right here. So I'm gonna and there's actually a bump right here too. So it's like, and if you get all this to let go, then, you know, so many other areas of the horse will let go. So like she's tight in through here too. So, you know, you're, almost the hind end resting. So, when you go from practicing work in hand or stall work, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this area is stuck, and then you focus in on the area that's stuck, girl. And work to try to smooth it out so that she doesn't get, you know, grumpy about it. Grumpy in there. There's your grumpy spot. Is that your grumpy spot? And she just had gas too. So that goes to show you that there's certain things that are being released. Good girl. Good. Interesting, she wants to look away. Spent hours doing this. Let it go. And then we'll go back to motion. Good girl. Good. And the whole gut is like gurgling. It's pretty interesting. Couple rounds. You know, and then it's like, too, with her, because she holds so much tension, good. You do a little bit of that, and then you let her walk around a couple times, which helps her let that all go, instead of just letting her stand. Good. Very nice. Good balance. Again, not so great behind, but this is a whole lot better, and she just released her jaw. So as we work on this, then she starts to soften and spring the ribs open instead of hold the ribs tight. It's like almost there. Maybe again. You know, and a lot of it too is like, if I'm gonna ride or work a horse, you know, there needs to be some flexibility in the ribs so that they can have some suspension in their whole body, because without any suspension, you're like riding around a stiff board. And there's no reason why she can't let this stuff go and find some elasticity in her body, instead of her just going around lumbering along like she's got 4, 2x4s as legs that don't move or absorb any type of shock. But when the rib cage is locked and the horse is stuck in the ribs, then the horse is going to go around like they're stiff as a board. So there's a lot of pieces that, you have to line up and put together and understand and see. Like, you have to have balance. So because without balance, you can't have fluidity. And within balance, you have to have rhythm, because, without rhythm, there is no symmetry. And then you're also trying to help the horse soften and release certain areas of the body so things can let go and flow, because we don't want the horse to be stiff. Good. And then the tail is swishing. Good girl. And the interesting thing is she's not dragging her feet as bad as she was when we first started. Good. Come on. Excellent. I mean, that's a huge piece right now. So when I went in and started to release the rib cage, good. It opens up the ribs, which softens the horse. It's okay. I don't know what that is. There's something somewhere going on. When you soften the rib cage and get the ribs to release, the horse can then bring the hind legs up a little bit easier and get the front end out of the way. When the ribs are tight and tense, the horse can't move the shoulders, let alone the haunches. So as you spring the ribs open like I did, which is pretty interesting, because it'd be cool to see from the beginning of the video to now, because her rib cage to me looks a little more rounder through here. It doesn't look so stuck as it was in through here, where before you could see her ribs here and now you can't see her ribs, which is actually really neat. Good girl. Because how she's actually carrying herself. Good. And she's a little defensive when I go into the ribs. As you can see, she backs up. So I'm gonna, and then she pulls her front end together. So we want her to open up like I had her before. And yeah, good. Super. See if you can do a little bit more. Can you open a little more for us? Like, I'm gonna look out the other way and avoid the situation. There's something going on in my body that's stuck. No, let it go. We have a snoring horse. Come on, you gotta let it go. And then actually we'll take the next look at trying to get her to soften the neck. it around. Good girl. Because the head twitching and stuff is good. Around. Something going on in the neck. Good. Very nice. Super. Good girl. Interesting. The neighbor over there is my stressful barn. Good. And then here I'll just play around with trying to get the crest to soften and the lower half or the lower portion of the neck to soften as well, so it jiggles a little bit because she wants to be a little tight. Good. There we go. You know, again, things should jiggle. Super. Very nice. Good girl. And I'm going to go back here. Good. Yeah, it's so weird. No. There you go. Good job. Let's go a little bit. Think it's breaking there. Holy moly. What's going on? Let that stuff go. Good. Because what we don't want is we don't want the horse setting the rib cage against us and locking against us, because it's just not going to work. Good girl. Very nice. And then we'll go forward again. Super. Nice. That was interesting because she was dragging her feet and then she released the jaw, and then for a couple strides she stopped dragging her feet. Good job. Good girl. This one, there's a lot of layers. Come on. I'll do a little the other way. Left of you. Super. Come on. And she struggles a lot with getting her right hind up, so she's actually doing pretty good. Come on. Come on, right hind up. Good. Up. Super. A couple more times. Good girl. Up. Good girl. One more. And up. Come on.
Girl.